All right, what is up, y'all? So, it's about that time, right? Series 9 is starting, which means let's start looking at some Series 9 content, right? If you look at this team, this is not a team that you've ever seen me use before, and this is actually the only match we're going to watch in today's video, because I figured a nice way to start Series 9 would be to allow you guys to see 5 teams that I built and let you try them out, see if you like them, and if they help you get back to Master Tier quickly. Because I have used some of these teams before to actually play a Master Ball tier before, and I can, testify that they work, I guess. So they're tried and true. These teams have practice put behind them, you could say, at least some of them. And others, definitely have potential, and I've tried them to some degree, and I can say they work. One team I haven't tried, and I figured I would put it in that video, so we will at least see me using it today. There's that, right? So let's start talking about some teams. 5 teams that I'm going to let you guys try. See if they help you get back to Master Ball tier. So first, we've got the Porygon Z team, which I, adapted to an Yveltal team for Series 8. Originally, we had Weakness Policy Togekiss in Series 7, I think, and like Landorus or something at a different point. And now we have Weakness Policy Celesteela to take that extra 6th place that I never could find a perfect fit for. And I think inherently Leech Seed Celesteela can be way better, especially if we're going to use it for like an end game after we've like sweet tasked with Porygon Z and we just need something in the back to like annoy them and to basically just like stall and make me win because of like a Leech Seed stall basically. It could be really good for that. But I figured that if we really want to make this team more like multi-dimensional in a sense and like diversify the leads, we can actually try Weakness Policy Celesteela, where you can lead Volt Switch into Celesteela, set off your Weakness Policy, and then just kind of start going crazy. And then you actually have Acrobatics Celesteela to make it even more interesting after you Dynamax if you're still alive. Not that many people on this team have Protect. That is the one drawback. I took Drain Punch off Rillaboom for Brick Break. I don't think I use Drain Punch enough, and I think Brick Break, when you do need to break screens, can be that useful. So, there's that. I don't really use Fake Out Rillaboom. I just find this to be a better use for it, I guess. And we do have Fake Out Raichu, which is the second fastest Fake Out user behind Weavile. Charm Raichu is really good answer to Regigigas, if we're being honest. When you face a Regigigas, you might want to lead like Whimsicott Raichu and just Tailwind Charm. Or like even like Celesteela Raichu, now that we have Celesteela on the team, can be a good answer to Regigigas. But we actually do lead Raichu Whimsicott quite a lot with this team, and we'll just start trying to like disrupt the field and get ourselves set up. You might Fake Out Tailwind turn 1, you might Nuzzle Tailwind turn 1, you might you might Tailwind Charm, you might Fake Out Taunt, Fake Out Fake Tears. Getting at least one Nuzzle off can change the game pretty drastically, honestly. So Nuzzle is probably one of the best moves to have. Fake Tears Whimsicott can pair very, very well with Porygon Z, ensuring certain one-shots when you really need them. Like on a Cresselia, I have Fake Tears one-shot a Cresselia using that. And so if you don't lead Raichu Whimsicott, you can lead like Whimsicott Porygon Z if you want to be really aggressive and just go straight for like Protect Tailwind, and then like Dynamax Fake Tears, Max Strike, or you can just go for like Fake Tears Max Strike turn 1 if you really want. Cinderace, I think, is a very good offensive Pokemon and just gives you another little, different option if you need it. You can like Tailwind, Dynamax, Max Fireball, like a super crazy damage right away with the Razor Claw. And Libero's obviously such a great ability. You could, I guess, Dynamax Rillaboom too, but I think just Rillaboom is a great supporter, and AV Rillaboom is really good. And then, now that we have Celesteela, you can also go for the Raichu Celesteela lead and Volt Switch into Celesteela right away, get that Weakness Policy proc, and start doing crazy stuff. The one drawback is that Raichu, of course, does not have a real offensive move besides Volt Switch, so it can only, if it wants to do damage, it has to switch out, basically, which is a little unfortunate. But that's the team, and I think that pretty much covers the basic leads. Raichu, Whimsicott, Whimsicott Porygon Z, Raichu Celesteela, Whimsicott Cinderace. You could even lead like Rillaboom Celesteela in some sort of random instance. I don't know, like Raichu Porygon Z, Raichu Cinderace. Raichu's a pretty good lead, but in general, I find myself leading Raichu Whimsicott the most, actually. So let's look at our next team. The next team is actually my Sand team, which I took Palkia off of and put Machamp onto. And I faced Random Gaming VGC with this team. I did a little bit of adaptation since then, took Quick Claw off of Machamp and put Scope Lens back on, which it always should be. Dynamax Machamp can actually be really good with the Chi Strike, getting the critical hit boost so that you can get multiple critical hit boosts on any given move. And we actually do sometimes like to just lead like Machamp Dracozolt, protect Dracozolt, Dynamax Machamp, and do max Rockfall, set up the sand for ourselves, and then you just kind of start going crazy with Dracozolt while having Dynamax Machamp next to it. Dynamax Machamp on Dynamaxes, you have Dynamax Punch, Dynamic Punch, I mean. And you can just confuse the daylights out of people, which can be really annoying. This is leftover Zapdos on this team. I should have made, this one still has Rising Voltage, which I guess isn't great. I wanted it to have Thunderbolt. I'm just realizing that. I think I only switched one of my Zapdos variants to Thunderbolt instead of Rising Voltage. But I think on electric terrain, even though Zapdos gets no other boosts, it still does get the Rising Voltage double damage. So I guess that's okay. So I mean, yeah, we can lead Machamp Dracozolt. Life Orb Dracozolt can be pretty crazy. Sometimes you might lead like Zapdos Machamp or like Zapdos Rillaboom even. Sometimes you might lead T-Tar Excadrill, or sometimes you might lead Excadrill Rillaboom, Excadrill Zapdos, and then like switch in T-Tar to set off the sand late turn, without them like seeing that you're just doing it right away. You know what I mean? Again, this team is missing some protects. It feels like protect is honestly one of the best moves in the game, if we're being dead honest. I feel like I said honest multiple times. But so you could take off like high horsepower on T-Tar for protect, and that might be good. This T-Tar variant I fixed so that it's not literally max speed, and now it only has like 180 speed and like 395 attack. So it's got a lot of attack. Excadrill also is a very fragile boy. I do like having Shadow Claw and Rock Slide though. I think they can be really good, and Razor Claw Excadrill is also very strong, even though I find myself using Dracozolt more than Excadrill. So there's that. Next team is the team we're going to see me using in the video, which I've actually only used once so far. This is actually what you might call a dual mode team. where you can either lead Charizard Torkoal or Comfey Goodra are probably two of the most threatening leads on this team. And obviously Torkoal and Charizard synergize together because of Solar Power, and Life Orb. And I will tell you that max special attack nature Charizard packs a huge punch. And I mean, if you really need the extra speed, you just max Airstream, right? So I don't really worry about not having the beneficial speed nature. I think that extra punching power can make a big difference. Raichu again, great answer for Regigigas, has Lightning Rod, so it can be helpful in that way. And Comfey can even be brought in the back with Charizard to do Floral Healing, but you also have Comfey to deny Trick Rooms to set off Weakness Policy on Goodra, which this Goodra has Weakness Policy Sludge Bomb to raise its special attack, and even Charizard's special attack. And it also has Flamethrower, so you can actually set up the Sun and bring Charizard in the back if you really want, without bringing Torkoal. So, unfortunately, the one thing is that because you have Raichu and Comfey and Rillaboom, it doesn't feel like you have that much offensive options on this team. But the good thing is that the people cover each other well. Like Rillaboom covers for Charizard's weaknesses. Charizard and Torkoal cover for Goodra's weaknesses and Rillaboom's weaknesses. And the Charizard Torkoal lead and the Comfey Goodra lead are different enough that they can be used in different situations and both be really good. So I think this team actually might be one of the best teams I'm sharing with you today, even though I've only used it once. And we do have our fair share of Protect users too, which I think makes it even better, I guess. So, you might lead Charizard Torkoal, Raichu Charizard, Raichu Rillaboom, Comfey Goodra, Rillaboom if you really want to make someone think you're going to like Grassy Glide yourself or something, I don't know. But, this team's got quite a few leads I think that are possible. And often you might even protect Torkoal turn 1 to bait people into targeting it. Next team I want to share is my Kanto team that I used also against Random Gaming VGC. Chlorophyll Venusaur is more bulk invested for this one, so we're not actually faster than Regieleki in Chlorophyll, but I mean, it's the only thing that's faster, and I have Earth Power because I like Earth Power variant Venusaur more than Sludge Bomb, and Dynamax Venusaur can one-shot Regieleki with Earth Power. So, there's that, and we really don't worry about it. We do have Sleep Powder, so we can put things to sleep. A lot of the time, you might lead Zapdos Venusaur, Dynamax Zapdos, set up the Sun, and then you can start putting people to sleep. Protect Venusaur turn 1 if I didn't say that. This is actually Assault Vest Zapdos on this team, which I think can be very good. I did switch this one to Thunderbolt, Ancient Power, Heat Wave, and Hurricane. Hurricane has 50% accuracy in the Sun, which isn't good. We have Weakness Policy Lapras. Freeze Dry is actually very nice to have. 4 times super effective on Dracovish, 4 times super effective on Goodra, super effective on water in general is nice, right? And I think that Weakness Policy Lapras can be a really nice option. I'm not really worried about those 3 extra turns of screens, even though I think it would be nice. Scrappy Kangaskhan is a scary Pokemon that some people aren't even ready for. With Last Resort, it has 310 attack, and with the Silk Scarf and the Stab Boost, that's 1.5 times 1.2 on an 150 base power move. Last Resort is going to be packing quite a punch off of that base 310 attack. Marowak, I think, with the illusion of Lightning Rod and not even having Lightning Rod can be nice enough, because if you send out like Marowak Lapras, someone's probably going to use Electroweb instead of Thunderbolt. And then you just have Rockhead to, do crazy Flare Blitz damage and not recoil. It's actually crazy that Flare Blitz can one-shot a non-Dynamax Regigigas, meaning that you can two-shot a Dynamax Regigigas with Flare Blitz. Marowak Strunk. And then the last piece of the puzzle, Moltres with a Citrus Berry actually can bring itself back above 50% health and get to +2. I feel like Moltres is the one thing I use the least on this team, and I could see how Light Clay, Lapras, and then Weakness Policy Moltres could be slightly better. If you have any suggestions for these teams, if you try them, please let me know, of course. But I do think each one of these teams has the potential to get you back to Master Ball tier, or at least help get you there if you don't want to use one the whole time, of course. So, because it is not Weakness Policy Moltres, I find myself using it a little less. And in general, I just haven't gotten used to using it enough to see its real use on this team. But I do think it's very great option, gives you a great counter to some of the other things on the team like Marowak, like the super effectives, and we have Taunt Moltres on this team, which I think can be really good to have, which I don't think most people expect to. I think the illusion of Weakness Policy Moltres can make people feel a little bit better about setting off the Lapras policy. And having not, people don't want to use a super effective move on Moltres because they think it'll have policy. So, there's all of that. And again, Assault Vest Zapdos is not to be underestimated. So you can lead Venusaur Zapdos, Kangaskhan Zapdos, Kangaskhan Venusaur, Kangaskhan Lapras, Lapras Zapdos, Lapras Marowak, Kangaskhan Marowak, Lapras Moltres, Kangaskhan Moltres, Kangaskhan because it has Fake Out is a great lead with almost anything, right? And then someone who has a fire move is great with Venusaur because you can protect. And Lapras is your all-over, maybe safest Dynamax at times, also having the Weakness Policy, but not a great way to set it off for you unless you're going to use like Ancient Power. So there's that. Last team for the that I have to share today is an adaptation of my Players Cup 4 team. So we got Trick Room. Without Calyrex Ice, now we just have Glastrier with the Weakness Policy. But honestly, Wigglytuff Slowbro is almost always going to be your best lead. If somebody brings Fake Out, the most common two Fake Out users in the game are Grimmsnarl and Incineroar. Grimmsnarl has super affected by Wigglytuff, and Incineroar has Intimidate, which sets off Wigglytuff's competitive. So both of them have a reason why they might want to Fake Out Wigglytuff instead of Slowbro, but if you see someone bring Fake Out, you don't want to Ally Switch turn 1, and you just want to Trick Room Hyper Voice, Trick Room Dazzling Gleam, whatever. If they Fake Out Slowbro, hopefully they don't double target it, and then you can Ally Switch next turn and actually try to bait them, because almost no one is actually going to double target Wigglytuff, and if they don't lead Fake Out, you can try to Ally Switch Trick Room, and it almost always works. And if you even want, you can go for something even more threatening, like a Glastrier Slowbro lead, and someone might be so threatened that they don't even want to double target Slowbro. So you can lead Torkoal Slowbro, you can lead Glastrier Slowbro, Vikavolt Slowbro. I've actually led Wigglytuff Vikavolt and gone Helping Hand Dynamax like Lightning into something and done massive damage. Mudsdale Vikavolt is a great synergy for in the back. So you might bring Wigglytuff, Slowbro in the front, and Vikavolt Mudsdale in the back, where you can Dynamax Vikavolt, do stupid strong damage, and then you can bring Mudsdale out, do Earthquakes, and then Levitate over them. You might also like a good back lead, can be Vikavolt, Torkoal, Glastrier, Torkoal, like Vikavolt, Glastrier. There's a lot of good back leads that this can have, honestly, but your front lead is almost always going to be Wigglytuff Slowbro, or Slowbro plus something that someone feels like they can't avoid, like Torkoal or Glastrier, or Vikavolt. Probably not Mudsdale, but I mean you could technically, if I'm being honest. But that's the teams, and I hope that you feel like one of these teams catches your eye, and that you might like to try using one to get back to Master Ball tier, because I do believe that each one of these teams has the potential in its own right to pull some really cool stuff off. And I do actually suggest trying this team, because we'll see what happens there, right? If I had to rank these teams on like potential, I think I definitely know the Porygon Z team really well, so I might put that one at number 1. Put this team at number 2 with the Goodra Charizard. This might be number 3, honestly. The Kanto team is very strong. Trick Room team maybe 4, just because, I mean, it is a Trick Room team, but if we're being honest, I did bring this Trick Room team to Players Cup 4 and almost qualify. So if you know how to use this team, it can practically be number 1. And then, not like I'm trying to hate on this Sandrush team, but I just think, because of the lack of protects, might even be the thing that's really holding this team back. But I think the other teams just have things going for them in certain ways that can make them better. So I don't know. Try the teams out. I will be posting the codes, so even though I was, going back and forth there for a second, you'll be able to look at it all. And now let's watch one match with the team that I never used until this. It is an unranked ladder match, and we see that my opponent does have a Reshiram. Do I care? No. And even though I can't bring Goodra to this matchup, I will tell you that Goodra is very threatening Pokemon. I chose to go for the all special attack Goodra, of course, and I do also think that Charizard has the potential to continue being a highly threatening Pokemon moving into this next, series. I could have taken off Raichu for like Venusaur or something, but so with this setup, we are definitely, I was expecting them to follow me, so I'm like, look, let's just target down the Togekiss. Like, if they protect, that could suck. They're gonna Dynamax. They Dynamax their Togekiss instead of Reshiram. I figured they would Dynamax Reshiram and use Max Quake on Torkoal, so I'm definitely gonna protect. My face is lagging. They do. It's because my computer has low battery right now, but it'll last long enough that I can finish the video. That was a crit. Yeah. Okay. So I can't do that much damage with one more chip. So I can protect this turn. I could switch into Raichu because of the air balloon. But because of that critical hit, I'm actually gonna want to switch into Comfy and get the floral healing. Comfy supporting Charizard, how about that? Kofi and Rillaboom work really well too, so, you know, there's the synergy. Okay. Assuming they don't get a double crit, which would suck, obviously, I will be fine to just avoid Togekiss, floral healing myself, and then I can Airstream. They actually max guard. So they kind of just wasted their turn hoping I would target them, and then they're just gonna go down to the chip damage. A very cool sounding move. Okay, my laptop is like, hey buddy, plug me in, plug me in. Down goes Togekiss, yep. So now we just bring out Raichu. I don't know what they have in the back. They have Stakataka. They could have had Rotom as well. They bring... And they had Urshifu too, so they didn't bring Urshifu or Rotom. And they brought Stakataka and whatever his name. So I think we nuzzle that thing. What was... I know its name, like... And then Life Orb Charizard just straight Heat Wave, just double strunks them. So this team is tested. It works. Hope you enjoyed that video. Try the teams. Whichever one you like, let me know. I forgot to say a QOTD, like, what Pokemon are you looking forward to using? I think I already used that one, but, I'll think of a QOTD. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know which team you like. I definitely suggest trying them because I do think you can get back to Master Ball tier with these teams. So, with that being said, till the next video. There you go. Alright, peace out, y'all.